Okay, so welcome to Earnful of Popcorn. I am Timmy Sullivan. No? You don't want to say Shandi Williams?
Shandi Williams.
Does that scare you?
No, it was like, it hurt my brain for a second.
Oh, because you couldn't figure it out?
Say?
Well,
I was like, wait, what did he just say?
because last time we said each other's names.
I know.
Well, it doesn't matter. Anyways.
You're too quick with that. You got that quick ass wit, and it hurt my brain.
Yeah, it's, and now, and here's how my brain works because of all of the problems I have. Yes, I've been long practiced at, saying crazy stuff quickly. But also, like, that bit is now, like, 900 miles away behind me. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's how my brain always works, and it's like the gear shift is broken. That's kind of what it's like. So that's why I've always had a problem writing. Like, if I think of a funny joke and don't write it down, gone forever.
That's so sad.
Yeah, I've like lost bits, and I'm like, yeah, that probably would have made me famous. I mean, not really, but like shit that was like, God damn, that was a good joke.
I wonder if you saw a hypnotist, if you could get any of them back. They've got to be in there somewhere. You're like, oh my God, I have a novel full of fucking jokes from like the last like 15
Holy
years.
Shit. Okay, welcome to Earnful of Popcorn. My name is Timmy Williams. We'll just do it that way.
And my name is Shandi Sullivan.
Is it? Yes. And we talk about horror movies for the most part. We don't really have a plan. We just go and talk about it. So we might spoil it. We might not. We probably will spoil it, though.
I did request, though.
What?
I did request that we do this movie. That was my request.
Yeah, but it's your request for me, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, let's explain that. So we don't do themes, but we do a little bit. Like, so the last few months we've like, hey, how about we only do about 2 episodes a month? But we were like, hey, let's do little themes every month. So this month it's January. So we're thinking like New Year's resolution style. And so we're like, okay, well, we're gonna talk about 2 movies that for each of us as something that like we have been meaning to see forever and never did. We're still trying to nail down Shandy's. We have some good ideas, but mine was very easy because I've never seen Rosemary's Baby for some reason.
Yeah, I was a little shocked by that, but I understand it too.
Well,
at the
yeah.
same time.
Well, I did avoid it a little bit because of Roman Polanski, but you know what? It's like there's so many other people that were involved in making this great movie it's really more detrimental to avoid it. And you know what I mean? Like, just watch it and still understand that he's a prick, I think is the best way to do it, So it's one of those movies that I feel like a lot of people know about, even if you haven't seen it,
Mm-hmm. You know what? While I was watching this twice over the past couple nights, I kept getting reminded that it's based off of a novel, and I really need to read this novel because I feel like the novel will probably be worse.
Like worse as in like more tense and more fucked up and horrible?
Yeah. And things happen more in detail.
You know what's weird is I was at a New Year's Eve party with some of my family members and my aunt and her son, Sam. So my cousin, Sam, we're talking about books. And they were talking about all these different books by this guy named Ira Levin, who then I looked up the next day. I'm like, oh, he wrote Rosemary's Baby, which I'm about to watch. So that was kind of weird, that they were talking about him. And then I'm like, oh, that's
Why do
actually...
we have this, like, kismet?
I don't know.
How do you say it?
I don't know.
Like, why is it stuff that we pick just randomly, like, and things that we talk about, like, it's just around the same... I don't know. There's just, like, this weird cosmic
We
thing.
are more connected to each other, even across great amounts of physical space. We are more connected to each other, humans in general, I mean. More connected to each other than we care to admit, and it probably has to do with, as they say in Twin Peaks, electricity. So, I feel like it's our synapses. Or what?
Or Satan.
Yeah, but I mean, here's the thing, though. Satan's not real. Electricity is, so...
As far as anyone knows.
Yeah, but I mean...
There's no physical evidence.
Okay, but I can go stick my fork in a light socket right now and find out about electricity. Right?
Please don't do that. Like, I've had it.
But yeah. Well, no, but so I feel like that's almost why electricity is such a big part of the Twin Peaks theme and like David Lynch's stuff, because it's like this weird, I mean, like look at Tesla, like it's like magic. It's like it is a very weird thing that we've discovered that's out there, and it is kind of everywhere and nowhere all at once. And I do think there's the possibility of certain networks of things out there that connect us all. I had an uncle that died a couple years ago who was not religious and basically atheist, but basically his son, my cousin Peter, got up and talked about it at his funeral and was like, Dad thinks when you're dead, you eventually just, go back into atoms, and your atoms are kind of entering basically a wind stream around the world for the rest of eternity. And you're just kind of floating out there in reality as atoms with everything else, so that in death we actually become part of everything. Which is a nice thought, and it's probably a lot closer to the truth than going to a magic cloud kingdom where Christopher Walken has wings. So... Do you know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, if I have a blind spot in my horror watching, Rosemary's Baby was definitely one of the biggest ones, if not the biggest one. And
did you know anything about it?
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, you can't be into horror movies without knowing about it. It's like, if you've never seen The Godfather, well, you'd know what it's about.
Yeah.
Rosemary's Baby, you don't maybe know an impression or a specific line, but it's this fucked up movie about a pretty lady with a short haircut and a baby and the devil. I think everybody knows at least that much,
Yeah, very, very pretty lady.
Yeah.
Her freckles around her nose, because there's a lot of close-ups of her in this movie. Yeah. Like, her face is just so mesmerizing to look at. Because all her proportions of her face are just so perfect.
I bet when she got married to Frank Sinatra, he was like, "Hey, you got a good face. Oh, your face." You know what I mean?
He said some dumbass shit like that. you got a nice face, sweetheart.
Yeah. But yeah, no, she's definitely otherworldly looking, and I bought the 4K of this. I recently just got a 4K player and TV, and it was it not the first, but it was one of the first 4K movies I've watched, and my God, it looks good. And yeah, it's like, so the close-ups on Mia Farrow on like this new beautiful definition are like, wow,
Wow.
And also it makes John Cassavetes look, I don't know, older in some scenes. Like he's a handsome man, of course, but it's also like, whoa, like I don't know. As the movie went on, it's almost like, why is she married to him? Because of the way he physically looked, but also obviously as the movie goes on, you're like, okay, why is she married to him? Because he's like a...
And you'd like to say this a lot when we talk about movies. You're like, why are they interested in these guys?
I know.
And looking at these guys?
Yeah, and it's the answer. And, and I know that women, and of course men are too, but people are attracted to each other for more than just physical reasons. I mean...
so funny.
Pretty much every time I've been late, I've been fat. When I was in shape, no one ever came around. You know what I mean? So, like, I understand that there's attraction that goes beyond the physical, right? But, like... They're like fucking pricks. All these fucking pricks.
These pricks. Oh, you know what I thought when I was watching this? I thought of you, not just because we do a horror podcast together and we were going to record about it, but I was
because we're literally, Anyways.
I was like, I wonder how he thinks about the clothes in this movie.
Oh, well, that's the thing. The 60s are classy. I didn't really see anything in this movie that you couldn't wear now, I felt.
Well, like the older couple, have such great fucking, funky style.
Yeah, the guy has
the older man's wearing that blue suit.
Yeah, and doesn't he have like a red and white one too, kind of, or pink and white one, like a seersucker kind of suit at one point, I think.
Yeah, he just looks so fucking cool.
Yeah.
I could see you wearing that when you're that age.
Yeah, well, back when I got married, I wore a seersucker suit for that, It's a good look. Very comfortable clothes, Perfect for walk around New Orleans, drinking beer outside, eating crawfish, something like that. But I don't know. So it's 1968. And it's this time for movies, especially New York movies, like, people were fucking classy.
Mm-hmm.
But the 60s New York is like, I don't know. It's fucking cool. It's very classy, and this movie, just everybody in it looks cool. And so, yeah, I think the 70s clothes, it's like we kind of tried some things that didn't work. And then we continued that in the 80s. Then we got back in the 90s. It's like, okay, we'll try fashion that is a little bit more timeless again, because I feel like most 90s fashion is still fine. You know what I mean? So
I almost bought you a 70s shirt to send to you for Christmas, and then I made myself stop.
Wait, did you say you mailed me something? Should I be watching out for something?
Yeah, it should be arriving any day now, and
because the mail's been so slow. But do you know if it's still on the way? It didn't get lost or anything, did it?
Yeah, it said between the 8th and the 15th, and you're definitely probably gonna mention it when we record again, because it's that fucking cool, and it's horror movie related, and that's all I'm gonna say about it.
Oh, my only present to Shandi was a copy of my show, so whatever. But,
which was fucking dope.
It is cool.
How fucking cool is that?
Yeah, I guess this is
you
the
should
first
plug it.
one. Plug it? Oh,
plug it.
Plug it. Plug it. Yeah, well, if you're listening to this, there's a good chance I'm part of a sketch troupe called The Whitest Kids You Know. And Shout Factory recently put out a DVD box set of our entire show. So you should check it out. People are buying it. People like it. So it's pretty exciting. Doesn't mean we're going to make new stuff. Absolutely not. We're trying to get our animated movie out there, and then it's done. And it's funny, because around here, like, people don't quite get that. They don't know how the entertainment business works. So when I tell them that it's the box set's coming out, they're like, oh, so if you get big, you remember me. I'm like, no. I'm done. Like, this is us, like, wrapping up our legacy so that I could just, like, stay home all the time. So you had seen Rosemary's Baby before, and have you seen it a bunch or what?
Yeah, I love Rosemary's Baby. I'm not a fan of Roman Polanski, the person.
Right.
His films, I am a big fan of, and one of his films, The Fearless Vampire Killers, was a movie that me and my dad watched a lot when I was growing up, and it's a fucking hilarious vampire horror movie.
This is like a parody kind of thing?
Yeah, and it's where he met Sharon Tate.
Right.
He met her on set, and that's when they started dating. So I've seen a lot of his films just because he has these really interesting ways of moving, because he's involved with every little bit of the cinematography and everything. Because he wrote and directed this, I think. He gets these really, really cool shots and that are just so random. And they're very stunning to look at. And I even mentioned this while we were kind of watching at the same time last night, that the music, it doesn't remind me of anything else.
There's a lot of different kinds of music in it too. Weird keyboard stuff, there's jazz, there's like creepy violins, there's all sorts of different things depending on what's going on.
But he has this certain style of music that he uses in all of his films. So the music that's in this is very similar and reminiscent to what's in The Fearless Vampire Killers. It's kind of like,
that's definitely one I want to see, because I've been very slowly reading Helter Skelter, and so it's talking about that stuff. But
yeah, it's sad to watch it, because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't understand any of that stuff.
And you didn't know she'd been murdered, probably, right?
No, it wasn't until I was older, and then I would watch it again. It would just make me feel so sad to watch it. This is not in my top 20, but it's in my top 100 films. But
makes sense.
Mostly because I really I want to just shout out Ruth Gordon is in this. And she's just a fucking badass.
Yeah.
And I love her. And watching her in this movie, I giggle every time she's on screen.
She's really fun. And she's also like, it's a character that's not necessarily grating to the viewer, but she is very grating to the main characters. And so when they are annoyed by her, you get annoyed for them because you're like, but she's also really, really funny.
I'm so annoyed by her.
Yeah. That's what I meant, grating, like it's grating on your brain. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yeah.
Do you think I meant they were making cheese, or what did you think I meant?
I don't know.
Okay. But obviously she's also Maude from Harold and Maude.
Yeah.
And yeah, she's a fucking titan. She was a titan.
There's a scene in this movie when she's having dinner with the couple for the first time, and like they're like, I don't really want to go, but we'll just go this one time, just to abate them.
Yeah.
Because they're old.
Yeah.
And they're having cake, and just the way that she's looking at Guy while they're eating the cake. I don't know if you noticed this, but she just makes these like weird little gestures towards him with the fork and looking at him. And throughout the whole entirety of the movie, that's one of the scenes that sticks out to me because she's embodied that character fully and completely to me. She's the only person I'm really paying attention to.
Yeah, I did notice. I think I did notice some of that. And, there's so much of that in the movie because it's a very subtle movie. When you think about it as, like, events, there's not a lot that actually, like, happens. It's just one thing that's going to happen that this lady slowly starts figuring out is going to happen. And what's going to happen is this lady's going to give birth to Satan's baby. And she's slowly starting to figure it out. And she doesn't know that her husband sold her out.
I like how they kind of give you all the information you need within the first 10 minutes. They're like, this is what happened in this building. This is a very, very old building. There was witchcraft reported here. There was like a guy that reportedly conjured the devil and all this stuff. And they're just like, okay, yeah, but we still love the apartment. We're going to move in.
Yeah, they find all that out. The little realtor agent guy takes them through the house. And I don't know if he was in on it or not. Does he show up again? He's not in the end where they're all worshiping, saying Hail Satan at the end, right? The little realtor guy with the glasses.
That'd be interesting if he was, though, right?
Yeah, it would be, because here's the thing: is like, so they learned all that stuff from Hutch, but when we first see them, they're walking in the building. He's showing them this stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah, the little lady died. She didn't die here. She died somewhere else." And then he's like, "Well, that's weird that the bureau's in front of the door, and this is weird. How did So he kind of like notices things, and it seems like he kind of cares, but really he just wants to sell the place. It seems like he's just not involved at all. And then Hutch is once again the one that tells them, like, yeah, this shit happened, this should happen, this devil should happen, this devil should happen, and it never stopped. He basically has an example from every decade up until the 60s where the movie takes place. And then he tells them that it had a nickname. It was called, because the name of the building is
Bramford.
Okay, so he's like, it's called Black Bramford, right? And one of like 3 notes I wrote down was just like, if you're in a horror movie and the building has a nickname, get the fuck out of there. Like, you don't want to be in a house with a nickname because that means it's going to kill you. Yeah, so. Also,
if you hear a story about, like, children's being eaten or sacrificed.
And dead babies.
And there's record of it. Let's maybe get... Okay, so there's, like, the Trench sisters story that they tell about that, like, sacrifice and eat babies.
Eight children,
There's witchcraft. There's a man that conjured the devil. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah,
I'm out. There's plenty of places in New York. You don't need to be in this building. Maybe the rent was cheap.
There's plenty. If you're right. Well, in New York, even back then, the rent was probably so expensive. It's like, well, I mean, okay, so there's a devil cult here, but like, how evil are we talking? Baby eating. Okay, well,
like the literal devil will rape you.
And also, don't be presumptuous in saying every other New York building does not have a cult. We don't know. I mean, shit, man. True. Do you remember the place Trevor and I lived in, Williamsburg? I don't know if you ever... No, you and I weren't really hanging out at that point. It was later. But, the apartment I don't think you were ever there at the apartment I lived in with Trevor in Williamsburg. But, like, there was blood on the door, like blood marks on doors and walls and stuff.
Whoa.
And that's because of heroin junkies shooting kickback blood everywhere. So you had hipsters in there doing heroin. You had people that lived there for years doing heroin. So one of them, I'm guessing one of the hipster type people, drew the Radiohead bear face in blood, like on the wall. It was fucking crazy. The whole play. I can't believe we didn't get fucking killed there, because like we're idiots. Maybe that, you know what? That's why we didn't get killed. Because we were too stupid to ever figure out the crimes. Like, these dumb white motherfuckers are never going to figure out what we're doing here, so it doesn't matter. Yeah, go ahead and put blood on their door.
So they move in completely unsuspecting. They move in because, you know, he's going to get his career started. They're going to talk about having a family. And I had written that Rosemary keeps noticing like all the right things where you're like, something's not right. Like something is not right about this place, but we just don't know what that is yet. You know, she notices like there's this big there was like an 89-year-old lady that lived in the apartment who was in a coma and she died, which is why the apartment's available.
This big fucking old lady. Anyways.
But so she also comes across a note that the old woman left that says, I can no longer associate myself.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize until later that she was part of everything that was going on and she didn't want to be a part of it anymore.
Well, that's probably what it means, yeah.
But it didn't click.
They don't say that outright, but I mean, that's kind of what the note refers, you know. So.
You're just like, what significance does that fucking have? I don't know. But she just keeps like pointing out things that just seem odd.
Yeah, and I think the old lady was going to quit whatever the coven was, so they killed her. That's probably what happened, you know?
Yeah.
Because they've been killing everybody. They killed the, so, you know, not long after they move in, Rosemary meets this nice girl around her age, and she gets to know her, and then this woman jumps out of a window. And it's, you know, and it's because of witchcraft, you know? Which isn't that a Frank Sinatra song, by the way?
Is it?
I'm pretty sure. Yes, it is. Witchcraft. That's fucking crazy. And he made it 10 years before this movie does. So. Anyways, but yeah, it's witchcraft. And her husband's an actor. And they move in, whatever. They meet these old people. They go over there for dinner. And then he like really gets along with the guy. And then he goes over there the next night without her. And I think that's when he makes the deal. What do you think?
That's when
he makes the deal. Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember when they first have dinner, there's that shot of Rosemary and Minnie and they're washing dishes together. And Rosemary turns and it's just a shot of the smoke that they're smoking going into the living room. Yeah. It was very fucking ominous to me. Where it's like, something bad is going to happen.
Yeah, it's really, you know, it's something I kind of can't wait to watch again because there's a lot of stuff like that. And like, it's really good at like, There's nothing.
It's subtle.
Yeah, everything's very subtle. There's nothing like, there's nothing really outlandish in it. You know, towards the end a little bit, but and in the like sex sequence or whatever the hell you call it, but I guess a rape. But anyways, but it's mostly just like finding the evil in normal things. Because another great thing is later on when she's starting to kind of feel weird because she's pregnant and it's like very strange, she notices that the old guy has a pierced ear. And, you know, that's a very witchcraft culty thing for some old guy to, especially back then, it wasn't a normal thing for some old man to have pierced ears, you know? So she noticed he has an ear hole, but it's not wearing the jewelry.
What were your thoughts on, so they're eating the moose, or what is that cute thing that Minnie called it?
It's moose, but she calls it mouse.
Yeah, she calls it mouse. So because she's what? Minnie.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah. She notices there's like this weird chalky aftertaste. And a guy gets so fucking upset that she won't eat it. And you're like, everything was fine like 2 seconds ago. Yeah. What the hell is his damn problem? And she throws it out, but then she basically like date rape drugs her. And so what were your whole thoughts on that dream kind of fucked up hallucinating sequence? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, I think it's right there in the moment when she at some point, you know, she does fall asleep anyways, and they basically have a ritual and summon Satan, and Satan fucks her and gets her pregnant. And but she's all drugged up, and so she doesn't really understand what's going on. But at some point, right during, like, when Satan's actually having sex with her, I think, she's like, this is real. This is really happening.
Right before you see like the scales and the hands dragging across her body and like picking her body up to like insert himself, I guess. Ugh. It was a split second, but I rewound it and it's Guy Guy all of a sudden has weird looking eyes and he's all covered in weird dirt and shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
What
No, I
I
noticed that
think
too. You're
is
right.
Guy was like
Vessel.
a vessel,
Yeah.
and he allows because the devil can't impregnate a mortal woman, so he has to be inside of a mortal man to, he has to have a
Right.
vessel.
Yeah, that
which
makes sense.
I never even noticed that before.
Well, I noticed I noticed that guy was the same actor, so yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of the idea too that like Satan doesn't exist in the same corporeal form that we do, because it's like hell is kind of a different dimension, sort of, is how a lot of that demonology stuff works, and so it makes sense that he would have to jump into a guy to do it. But then then she wakes up with claws on her back and all this stuff, and that's kind of how it all starts.
Just to like forge your fucking acting career, you subject your beautiful, super sweet fucking wife to all this shit? It's fucked up.
It does seem outlandish, but it doesn't either, because there's regularly people, especially men, especially in the 60s, men putting women through whatever the fuck they had to put them through so that their lives could be successful and great, not really worrying about what the woman was going through. Maybe not this extreme all the time, but also they're keeping her drugged, and there's a whole, kind of stereotype almost of like, the mom at home getting drunk on Chardonnay, while the kids are at school and the husband's at work. And so they're just kind of keeping her drugged to keep her okay with this life so that he can go do whatever he wants. And in this case, it's also because because he's made this pact with these evil grandmas and grandpas, and he has to
Evil grandmas and grandpas.
but he has to like keep doing it. But yeah, I think one reason he's so pissed that she notices something weird in the moose is because he's like on edge about making this work. And now, like, this is the moment where it's supposed to work. They're supposed to drug her tonight with this moose and then get her pregnant with a devil baby, and then he can be a big star. And here's step one, is getting her drugged up, and now she's already noticing whatever is in there, whatever herb.
Bringing her next door.
Yeah, so it's like, oh, God. So, yeah.
Oh, God.
And it is, I think the best part, because it's sort of in a way obvious what's going to happen. It's kind of like she's going through the same thing the audience is, or I guess we're going through the same thing she is, where it's like, we know something's wrong. We know all this stuff adds up to something bad, but we can't quite fucking put our finger on it, and neither can she. And that's kind of part of the reason why she goes crazy. And then, of course, they're drugging her, they impregnate her, and they continue to drug her so that she's all pale and, sick-looking the entire pregnancy until the very end,
Yeah, I really like that whole sequence. I don't like that she gets raped by her husband in front of a whole bunch of naked people.
Hold on. There's an important word you forgot that is one of my favorite horror movie tropes. Naked old people. Naked old people. Oh, my God. Hereditary. Fucking It Follows. So many. The Shining. Oh.
Wasn't it in Midsommar?
Which one? Midsummer? Yes, Midsummer. There's yeah. It's yep. There's naked old people in that, and there's that also scene. Midsummer's really good at making sex like not fun to think about, because like when the boyfriend's fucking that girl towards the end, and they're all standing in the thing like oh my God, like the orgasm song is basically what it is. I've only seen that movie once. That movie fucking rules, but there's a lot of that culture here, and so it's funny to see it perverted. But anyways,
I just really love that whole sequence of her, like, he's taking her pants off, but then he's taking her pants off in her weird fever dream.
Yeah.
Now she's on the boat, and like,
the
gorgeous boobs are hanging out, but now she's in a bikini.
Those are not her boobs, I don't think.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because trust me,
maybe Sinatra wouldn't let her show them.
Yeah, well, but I'm a dude. I'm a very horny dude. I've been a single dad for a long time. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, Reddit. And so I love naked scenes from movies, and you can tell when it's not the actress because they always go a little bit out of their way to, you can't see her head, right? So and they do look a little bit bigger than
what she would have.
Well, and maybe, I don't know,
right?
but I think the only thing I'm noticing is that it's shot without any noticeable Mia Farrow marks in it, meaning her face or whatever. So that's why I think it's a body double.
Okay, I can see that.
And also, but you're right, but as far as the reason being, it is probably fucking Frank Sinatra, but maybe, she was she was pretty young when she made this movie. And the character's only about 23 or 4, and I think that's about how old she is, too. So, she might not have wanted to, and maybe she would have done a nude scene in, like, a nice love scene in, like, a romantic comedy, but, if you're a young actress, it'd be like, oh, you want me to take my tits out in this, like, devil rape scene? How about we get a body double?
I feel like it probably was Sinatra being like, "You're my wife. No one else can see you."
Well, and he didn't. I mean, she did this movie as like an act of defiance against Frank Sinatra. Like she wanted to do other things, and he was not letting her. So at one point she was like, "Fuck you, I'm doing this movie," and that's kind of why he ended up divorcing her on set, like you were talking about last night.
Yeah, I was looking into it, and apparently he had like a tiff with one of the heads in one of the producers. He was like having some argument, and then he was like, you know what? Since I'm having disagreement with this person, you can't do this movie anymore. And she's like, are you fucking serious? I have a month left of shooting. Like, I'm in every fucking scene.
Yeah.
And I saw a thing of her talking about this in an interview. She was like, I'm in every scene. Like, that would have ruined this movie. They would have had to reshoot everything with a new actress. Who knows if the movie would have even been made. Or finished, because you know how shit like that happens.
Yeah.
And she was like, no, I'm doing it. And she didn't think he was serious about it, but he said, I will divorce you if you continue making this movie. And he wasn't joking. He
did.
Served her divorce papers while she was on set.
And then she actually tried to get out of it at that point, so stay married. And
but
then they showed her an hour-long cut, and they were like, "This movie's too good. You got to keep doing it." So she did it.
Yeah,
but she did. She didn't. But, so it worked on. Basically, what Sinatra did worked on her. He tried to fucking scare her out of having her own career by threatening her with divorce, and so she almost did it until the producers were like, "Yo, this movie's gonna be this movie's gonna be the tits, Mia. You got to do it, even if you don't show your tits." But. So like that's okay. We got ladies who'll show their tits for you. Don't worry about it. Come do the movie. But anyway, so, but and it's kind of interesting too because it's a movie where, I mean, if you look at it kind of metaphorically, this lady's getting gaslit, and I know we say gaslighting all the time, but it happens a lot. And looking at standing standing from the podium of modernity, if you will, looking backwards through time, it's easy to take this, term that's people use more now, gaslighting, and look backwards and apply it in places where people weren't looking for it before. And especially in a lot of these movies where it's a woman who has a bad relationship with somebody, so often the woman is being gaslit by people. And this is totally that. And you know who's the worst at gaslighting her? I would say her husband is in second place. Because Minnie gaslights the fucking shit out of her.
Yep.
Like, every other word she says to her is like, oh, you're not sick. Oh, it's fine. Oh, this is fine. Oh, no, you're just doing this. Oh, you're just this. Oh, you're just that. Like that's classic abusive. And so that's what the whole movie's about. And that's why the ending is so fucking awesome and sad and creepy the way this movie ends, because basically she just gives into it, So, and it's weird that almost happened on set in this movie. And then Robert Evans, who's a fucking legend, was like, no, baby. I'm sure he called her baby. He was probably wearing sunglasses because he was famous for that and fake tan. It was like, baby, you got to do it, Because, he walked out of this movie, then I think he produced The Godfather next. Like, the guy was a fucking, He
knew what he was fucking doing.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. So he was like, your husband's an asshole. Keep doing this movie because it's big fucking deal. Mm-hmm. And then in the movie, he's like, yo, your husband and those neighbors are an asshole. And something's happening up here.
Well, Hutch is like the viewer watching it, but he's in the movie knowing that, like, hey, what the fuck is this? She's like, oh, this necklace is tannis fruit.
Yeah.
He's like, what the fuck is this? Like, this isn't a root. Like, I'm going to look this up in the encyclopedia. And I'm like, uh-oh, something bad's going to happen to Hutch. Because, anytime somebody's trying to get involved and, get in the way,
They die.
It's not going to turn out good for them. But I'm like, that's a good friend where he's like, this ain't right. You look like shit.
And then you never see him again.
Well, yeah. I didn't realize that, like, which I should have. He's like, oh, does anybody know where my glove is? And they're like,
yeah.
Oh, we can't find it. And it's like, because earlier in the movie, the person that had Guy's part that he wanted, he took his tie. Because you have to, in witchcraft, you have to have
they say that you have to have an item of the person to curse
like
them or whatever.
Usually it's like hair,
like
a piece of hair from someone or whatever, like then you're able to like cast a spell because it has like their being or whatever with it. But yeah, I also I just have to mention this because that was a big thing with this movie too. When she came out with a short haircut. Was like a big fucking deal. And she even says it. She's like, oh, I went to Vidal Sassoon. And guess who does all the hair in this movie? Vidal Sassoon.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that they're part of a movie. They do a haircut on the main actress. And and everybody in the movie talks shit about their work.
Yeah, it's crazy. I wonder, and he was such a deal that he probably thought it was funny. He's like, see, it's funny that they're talking shit about me in the movie because no one would ever talk shit about me in real life because I'm awesome. I think that's
but it was like, it wasn't a look. It was like in the beginning of like women feeling like more empowered about their, because women had to have long hair. Women can't wear pants. Women, it's like that whole women empowerment movement of like, I can have fucking short haircut and still be fucking sexy. And every man in this movie that sees her is like, you look awful. You look like shit. Every dude that sees her, like not one woman says, if you notice, not one woman, not any of her friends when she has that party, says anything bad about her haircut. It's every man.
It's everything else.
That sees her is like, he actually makes a comment about the hair too.
Okay.
He says the same thing. He's like, well, it's not good.
Oh, right.
He's not as mean. He's not as mean about it. But like, she looks hot as fuck. What the hell's wrong with y'all? Because that was probably about like the time where like Twiggy, I don't know if you know the model Twiggy, very famous Andy Warhol. She had that same exact haircut. And she kind of has like this cute little petite face like Mia Farrow has. So it was just like a big thing during that time of like a lot of women didn't have short haircuts like that. So crazy. Like that's a controversy in a fucking film is a woman having a short haircut. It's so insane.
What's weird about it is like, so they're not, in my mind, they're not saying it looks bad because they think it looks bad. Like, there's no way she doesn't look pretty to these guys. They're saying it looks bad because they didn't approve of it. And that's why her husband is saying it looks bad. And that's why all these other guys is like, it looks bad because it's not part of the patriarchy's agreed upon image of a woman at the time.
Oh, and do you remember when, so she goes to see the doctor that's in the coven, and he's like, have you been reading any books?
Yeah.
And she's like,
don't read books.
I couldn't help myself. And he's like, throw it away.
Yeah.
Why are you reading books? You're a woman. I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, because I'm a doctor, and I worship the fucking devil. But
and this ties back to what you were talking about.
Yeah. No, I was just gonna say it's the whole thing is the same idea. It's crazy.
Of like books give you bad ideas. You can't read books.
Well, it's independence. That's the whole thing. And I mean, wow, it really ties into
like. Is this a women empowerment movie?
Well, gotta be, even though it was made by a guy who was diddling teenagers. But I mean, yeah, the whole thing, including the behind the scenes stuff, is just about people not wanting a woman to make her own decisions. I mean, the whole movie is them talking her out of that. It's crazy.
It's like her husband decides that what he wants means more than what they want as a couple.
Yeah.
The people that live next door also, what they want as a collective coven means more than what any of the people that they've probably killed over the years.
Right.
None of those people matter.
But also, Satan. What's really important is what Satan wants. I mean, honestly, because that's what they're all fucking, that's what they're all really serving is Satan. So it's not even what they want, it's what Satan wants, who's at least possessing a dude, if not a dude himself, So, but so anyways,
I have
you
to
know,
pee.
okay,
I
go
have to
ahead.
pee.
Go ahead.
And I didn't want to hold it I didn't want to do the thing of like wait until I was
No,
the
no,
next
just go
floor.
when you have to. Just go for it.
Yay! Okay, I'll be back. I pee fast. Okay. Thanks, man. Ooh.
Yeah, it's funny you say thank you and stuff like it's a big deal. Like I'm not letting you pee. You can just go pee. Like, what are we talking about here? We're talking about men not women
Thanks,
making their own
guy.
decisions outside of men, and plus I'm a parent, and it's like, oh my god, yeah. If you go to the bathroom, don't even ask me. Just get in there. I don't want to clean up your piss. Now, in this case, I wouldn't be cleaning up your piss because you live very far away from me. But I'd still have to like clean up piss sounds off of the recording, because you probably pee pretty loud, right? So you could probably hear it. Like you just blast it out like a racehorse, right? So,
Dude, I did too. Like if I would have brought the computer with me, you just would have heard.
do you think so we know that the devil cult in this movie, they're all naked and standing around watching the devil possess this guy and then fuck his wife pretty much against her will because she was like drugged or whatever. Do you think they're into like water sports then too, like golden showers? Probably, right? Or is that being unfair? That's being unfair to people who like piss stuff, because it'd be unfair to assume that people who like golden showers worship the devil.
Well, do you think that they're all about the same? What's weird is that they're all like about the same age.
Yeah.
So are they like his friends from when he was like a little kid, and like they're all
it's probably something like that. Like, think about it, right? So he's like, as we find out, Minnie's husband. I can't remember his name. Roman. There we go, Roman. So Roman, what we find out is the son of the original warlock dude who summoned the devil.
Stephen Mercado.
Right. So he changed his name, and his dad was the guy that originally did it. So he changed his name to Roman. All the other old people in the cult, like you said, are the same, seem to be the similar age. So I would say it's probably like they've all been in on it with him for a long time. He probably brought them in when his dad was still alive, even, and like, hey, we worship the devil. You guys want to worship the devil with us? Yeah,
And you think they all live in that building? Because that one lady, she's like, oh yeah, she lives in so and so. Do you think the rest of them live in that building?
Yeah, totally.
Interesting.
Yeah, I think so. Or, maybe not everybody, but it definitely seemed like that was the thing. I mean, was that the whole cult lived in the building is kind of what it seemed like. Because it's New York, you can have a lot of people living in an apartment building. And, when we see like what seems to be the whole group of Satanists at the end, there's not a lot of people. So it makes sense like and some of those people will be living together, So we're only talking about 10, 20 apartments. So I'm sure they could be in the same building,
Except for that one guy that's like taking pictures who looks like a tourist. And then there's
the
that
Asian dude.
Yeah, and then there's that like younger kind of looking attractive man that I was like, who is that guy?
Well, let's think about this though. And this could also apply to the old people, but I think it is especially likely to apply to the younger people. Is they probably made a deal with these specific people for something in exchange for, maybe to help, lure people in or whatever, or maybe to go get us goat blood when we need it. I don't know.
Because that's why Guy's there too, because like he's made a deal. Yeah. Oh, why didn't I think of that? That makes so much sense.
Well, but that's the kind of thing that goes back to really old school horror too, because it's like, the original Dracula and a lot of those older Dracula movies are just as much about his familiars as they are about Dracula, and those are the people that he like turns to his ways, and they have to serve him and all that stuff. So, it kind of makes sense. But I would guess it's probably something like that. And this is one of those movies where you could theorize about stuff, but also even though it's all very subtle, they really, like you said, it's kind of a lot of it's laid out early on, and you just catch on later. But like it's pretty simply laid out for you, and I think they do that so that they can have creepy things happen that aren't obviously creepy at first, but like when she's in a phone booth trying to go see a different doctor because she's realizing, I think my doctor is in on this with these other people and he's keeping me sick while I'm pregnant. And so she's trying to call another doctor, And then she's like, there's like someone standing outside the phone booth at some point, and you think it is the doctor. That turns out to just be some guy, but like, oh, scary.
I mean, right at the beginning, Rosemary, you can tell by her body language that she doesn't, she knows there's just like something off about the people that live next door. She doesn't want them to come over. She doesn't want to be in their presence. She even tells Guy, like, can you not let them in? Can you not go over there? And then you're like pushing that weird ass drink on her. She's like, I don't want this shit. Probably food for the devil, baby.
It's not one of those movies where you know something that the character doesn't. And it's not one of those movies where you're both fucking clueless. It's like, okay, she's catching this shit and so am I. Like when she notices that Roman has a pierced ear, then the movie shows us that right at the same time that she notices it. So we can be like, oh, what's this about? So you're kind of like investigating it along with her. But then watching this poor girl get so fucking sick and have these people and this shitty doctor tell her that it's okay. And like she's always in pain. And she's in pain because there's some evil fucking shit happening inside of her. There's a devil baby. There's these herbs, you don't know what they do, and all this fucking weird cake, like evil cake, who knows? And so it's making her sick, and it's making, and what? Yeah, the moose mouse, who knows? Maybe there is fucking mouse in it, you know? Maybe the thing that drugged her was powdered mouse testicles, who the fuck knows, with a witch. So, you know, she's like sick, and she's in pain, and then you have this doctor, and her husband, and these old people, and all these other fuckers telling her like, oh no, that's all part of being pregnant. You know, she's constantly trying to, like, get away and figure this shit out. Not get away physically, but, like, I need to figure this out. And then when she finally has that party, she can bring over her girlfriends, some of which who probably know, who they probably know what it's like to be pregnant.
What does one of her friends say? You look like a piece of chalk, which makes me laugh every time he says it.
Yeah, and it's you know what? I've never heard someone say that in that context before, and it's like a... And she finally kind of talks to them about it. They're like, fuck no, none of that's normal.
Yeah, they're like,
you know,
you've had this pain for how long?
Yeah.
And they're just telling you that it's okay and it's normal. Like, that's not fucking normal. And then you see Guy trying to, like, he's like, oh, fuck, she's going to, like, ruin everything for me.
Yeah, and doesn't he say these bitches are going to, what does he say, what those bitches tell you? Something like that. It's like, jeez.
Yeah, he keeps calling them bitches.
And she's like, stop calling them bitches.
He's like, well, this isn't going to be fair to the doctor. And she's like, fair to the doctor? What about fucking me, you asshole?
For anyone with even a little bit of empathy, it is insane that the husband is equating some doctor who he doesn't know, some doctor's feelings to his wife's feelings about this. It's like, you don't want to hurt the doctor's feelings. She's like, what the fuck about me? Like, you know, it's just so horrible. And the thing is one reason it's horrifying is because it does happen. It was happening all the time then. It is still happening now, you know, in relationships.
What's so crazy, too, is when I love that scene of when the pain finally stops. I love her acting in that scene.
Yeah.
And because she just starts laughing hysterically because, man, I would laugh if I had pain like that.
Yeah.
That lasted so long and then it just stopped all of a sudden. One, I would be like, confirmed that whatever the fuck I've been drinking was probably causing that pain. So I'm not fucking crazy. But then she's like, oh my God, the baby's alive. And she grabs Guy's hand and he rips it away because he knows it's fucking in there.
He doesn't want to touch that thing. Yeah.
She goes, it's not going to bite you.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
And I'm like, well, it might.
So what was that? Was she pretending that it didn't hurt anymore to find out why he was so against it? Or did something actually take place? Because she didn't drink the drink.
She had stopped drinking the drink.
Right.
So it wasn't causing... So the pain finally went away. Which sucks
gotcha.
because now she's like, oh, everything's fine. So she keeps drinking that drink again. But then like, I don't know. There's just like, there is that weird moment of like, is it because she stopped drinking the drink? Or is it because there's like a phase of like the baby growing, like the demon baby, like is finally like fully formed to grow into like part human, part devil?
Yeah, that could be it. I also had the thought that, you know, so she and the husband have this argument about her being in pain and why would the doctor want me to keep being in pain? So the husband probably goes to the other witch people. And the Satanist is like, hey, we got to change the formula so it stops hurting her because she's going to catch on to us.
Yeah.
You know, so possibly something like that, too. But they don't make it clear, well, which they don't have to, which is great. Like we always say, you don't need to do all that stuff. But what they do make clear is that she's, starting to kind of fight against it, but still getting pulled back into it. And it's just sad. It's kind of sad to see because she starts to figure stuff out. And the scenes where she figures stuff out are fun. Like, I actually took a picture of one of the scenes, a screenshot, and sent to my family because my family and I have always loved, my parents they love doing this. Okay, I remember waking up when I was 4 or 5 years old in our trailer house, and I'm like, Mom and Dad are yelling. And their friend Keith is here. I hear him yelling too. Why is Keith still here? It's late. I wake up, I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they're yelling at each other about Scrabble because my family fucking loves Scrabble. And so I've never seen Scrabble used to solve like a mystery in a movie before. So I was like, that's so fucking cool. Because as Shandi said a little bit ago, we found out this old guy Roman, well, that's a fake name. Roman Cassavet is actually an anagram for his real name, Stephen Marcato, meaning different words, same letters. And Stephen Marcato is the son of the Satanist whose last name is Mercado, whatever. So I did think it was weird that you got Cassavet, but I assume that's from the novel, so it's before John Cassavetes was involved. But you got a guy named Roman, like the director, and then a name that sounds like the name of one of the stars. I just thought that was weird. But everything about this movie is fucking weird. About its production, so I guess it's fine.
Everything is weird.
But the middle of the movie to me is just so, you're watching this woman be pregnant and have this stuff that's obviously wrong with her, and then all these fucking assholes gaslighting her into saying, no, everything's fine, keep having the baby. I think anybody who's been around a woman who is pregnant, obviously those who have been pregnant, but also people who have been around a pregnant women, you just watch this knowing. Because, I'm a dad. I was married to my daughter's mom when she was pregnant and stuff. And so I observed. And there's a lot of men out there who get a lady pregnant and do not pay attention. But I do because I wanted everything to be good. I wanted everything to work out fine. So I was paying attention. And so anybody who pays attention to a pregnancy, whether it's a partner or the pregnant person themselves, is going to be watching this movie being like, holy shit, she is so obviously not fine.
Well, no, and she's completely isolated, which is is such a sad thing to watch. Of like, she even says it like, none of my friends know that I'm pregnant. Mm-hmm. Like, they've completely isolated her because what? So they can control her and control everything about the situation.
Yeah, exactly. Because if she's allowed to leave, if she hangs out with her friends, and like we saw, the one time she hangs out with her friends, they instantly pretty much are like, whoa, girl, what the fuck is going on? None of this is normal.
The saddest scene is when she's dealing with the pain, is that she's sitting in front of the TV and she's just doubled over and she's visibly kind of shaking. The pain is so bad and she's all alone because her husband's like out doing, he's a big actor now. And it's just so fucking sad. She's all alone in so much pain and she's just fucking dealing with it because she wants this baby so bad. She's like so happy that she's pregnant and she's been told everything's going to be okay. This is just like all part of it. And if you've never been pregnant before and you've never been through a pregnancy, you're going to listen to what? Your doctor. Like that this is just a part of it. And to me, that's why women are so fucking resilient, is because they'll deal with that fucking pain. And she does.
Yeah. And what's sad is that she doesn't have to be, she's...
Nope.
Because yes, there's normal pain associated with pregnancy and labor. And yeah, my mom gave birth to 6 people. I don't think ever used painkillers. She's a fucking tank. You know what I mean? But I've always thought my mom's a Terminator. I'm pretty sure she's half titanium alloy. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure I've seen her left eye glow red before. And all credit to Margaret's mother. She also went without that, with painkillers and
an epidural.
Yeah, didn't get that. She got the one that helps create the contractions, but not the pain one. So, fucking crazy. I mean, you watch. Have you ever been in the room when their baby was born?
Not when they were born. No, I mean
it's fucking crazy.
It's crazy.
It's a crazy thing to see happen.
I had 2 sisters that were pregnant when they were, one was 16 and one was 17 or 18. And they didn't really talk about it, but like me being like not that much younger than them, I was like, what has to happen? like a fucking watermelon comes out of your hoo-ha sounded like the most painful fucking thing.
I believe we determined that's called a hoochie coochie.
Oh, sorry. But hoochie coochie. Oh, yeah. Having a watermelon come out of your hoochie coochie does not sound pleasant. Can you imagine if that came out of your dick hole or your butt?
There's a Cosby Show episode about that. Which we don't really need to take his opinions on the difference between men and women, but here's the thing: someone else probably wrote that episode, but it was about where the men give birth to stuff like sandwiches and bottles of soda. But but there's a lot of men who wouldn't want to be in the room, but I'm like, fuck, man, I want to see this happen. And what's really strange is I also videotaped it, and I watched the video a couple of years later, and what's very, very surprising to me is that the video, when I watch it, it is completely quiet. There's like no sound happening until the baby comes out and starts crying. And because, I mean, when you see it in every movie or TV show when a woman gives birth, it's screaming, ah! Completely fucking silent.
Huh.
And, we had a doula there that was helping my wife at the time, like, cope with the pain and kind of doing a little bit of kind of meditation sort of stuff and things like that.
Oh, cool.
They also kept the lights off, and I think there might have been candles lit even. And, like, everybody was whispering, and it was just a very chill atmosphere. And I was still shocked, because to me, it's like, I'm watching my daughter come out of a hoochie coochie. And there's, so I do, like, in the moment, my mind is like, wow, what the fuck? So I didn't even notice until I watched the video later, like, oh my God, it's fucking silent in there. It's crazy.
I've watched stuff on YouTube or online of people giving birth in hospitals. C-sections are fucking wild, man, because they have to give you sedation for that. So there's like a curtain that they put over where they're going to put the incision to pull the baby out, and you just see the woman's just sitting there, and she's wide awake, but she's on so many meds. She's just like la 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 la. Mind you, they've cut her, like, think of your entire belly just being slit from one side to the other.
And, like, stuff comes out of it. It's like...
everything,
your guts are right
intestines come out. Like, everything's coming out. And then they got to stitch you up. And you're just like, la, 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 la. It's just so fucking crazy. I mentioned C-section because I'm wouldering because they mentioned the baby has, like, weird feet and weird hands. They probably would have to, it probably wouldn't be a regular birth, I would think. I would feel like they'd have to rip her open.
Yeah, possibly. They also don't give a shit about this woman, so they might not have worried about that. So in a regular birth where it comes out, even then, it still tears their perineum sometimes, a.k.a. taint. And they have to get it stitched back together. That's crazy that even after all this time of human evolution, it still doesn't work. Like, it's still, really? We're fucking thousands of years into this thing? We haven't evolved yet so that the vagina is either bigger or more elastic, or that babies are smaller? Like, really? It's still tearing up your butthole?
But isn't it crazy, though, that a woman's vagina can stretch that big and then contract back?
Yeah, it's crazy that it can stretch as big as it does, right? Yeah. But it's also crazy that it's still not enough,
No, so, it's still not enough.
Like, that's what I'm saying. It's insane. Like, because you still got women. There's someone right now in the world, somewhere, a woman is giving birth and her taint is ripping apart, and there's a good chance she didn't know that was going to happen, and she is happy that her kid is here, but also fucking panicking because her butthole's ripping apart is probably what she thinks is happening. Like, that is happening to somebody right now. Now. And now it's happening to somebody else.
And there's so many complications with pregnancy, too. So I'm thinking of, like, what complications is the devil's son gonna give a tiny? Because Mia Farrow's body is tiny.
Right, it's tiny, and there's a whole concern with hip bones and stuff, especially when you're smaller. And yeah, it's wild. And Margaret's mom is smaller, and it's like there's concerns about this stuff. And luckily, nothing like that happened. But like, yeah. And here's the other thing. Yeah, you're pregnant with a devil thing, and they say at the end, once she figures out they're all evil, the closet ends up being a secret portal into the kick-ass devil apartment, like a very nice devil apartment, and goes to the she figures out they're all evil. She brings in a knife, but they, of course, gaslight her and fucking manipulate her out of doing anything. And so she goes up to the cradle, and she looks at the eyes and gets horrified. And then they mention something like I said about the hands and feet. So yes, this baby was not normal.
No, and she makes a really good face.
Yeah, she does. All that stuff. The stuff she does at the ending is amazing.
Do you want to have more kids?
Not like that.
You're done?
Yeah, well, I'm done. I kind of feel retired from dating. I kind of, like, here's the deal. I'll probably have sex again for some reason at some point. I don't know how or why. The idea of having sex anymore makes me tired. The idea of
doesn't it? I don't know how, and I don't know why.
but you know what I'm talking about, because you don't really care about dating anymore either, right? You don't really go after anybody, right? But
No.
you know, it's just like, especially just kind of like, well, I mean, I'm only in my mid 40s. There's a good chance at some point someone will fuck me again for some reason. I don't know. But if it happens, sure. If it happens not, okay, whatever. You know. So the idea is just like, oh god, just the idea of having, not like like the act of sex would make me tired. I know what I'm doing. But just the whole like being with a person and now you're next to them and I gotta sleep and the sleeping is never comfortable ever. I don't care what anybody says.
Nope.
Sleeping with another person is terrible. And like, I don't know, just for me, I could never figure it out. But also just the idea of dating and stuff is just like, oh, fuck, no. So no, I don't want to have a biological kid again. I am very interested in someday adopting. You gotta be, like, I straight up like couldn't afford to do it right now at this minute, but I would love to someday, because I love kids and I know that I'm a good dad now. And it's like, there's kids out there that deserve it, especially now that we're living in a fucking just shy of Handmaid's Tale fascist fuckhole very soon, and there's going to be way more forced labors.
I might be punished for not ever having children.
Yeah, dude, what have you read the book or watched the show that they put you in the brown dress and make you do all the housework, right?
Yep, that'll be me.
Yeah. Is that in the show or is that in the book? Is it the same thing? Yeah, okay. I've only read the book. I haven't seen the show. But
I saw the show. I haven't read the book.
But is it the brown dress thing? Is it the brown dress
thing? Yeah, I think
thing?
it's the brown dress. Right? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, So is that how it works? Like, because you haven't had sex, then they're not interested in you? Or not because you haven't had sex, because you've never been pregnant?
Well, there'll be some form of punishment. So I think in the show, I would be the woman that like holds down the other ladies while they're being raped.
Jesus Christ, you're right.
Don't want to be that.
Right. And people are like, you're being dramatic. No, we're not. Like,
no, we're not.
We're so fucking close to this. And here's the other thing. I love you to death. We've been friends for a long time. And so when I say this is not an insult, it's a statement of fact in this supposed fascist regime, right? You would also be considered too old to be bred. Probably too.
Yeah, because I'm going to be 43 in a couple months.
Yeah. You're over 40. I bet they wouldn't even want.
I'm an old hag.
Yeah.
That's what they call me. Yeah, old hag.
That's insane.
Did you get the picture I sent you?
I don't know.
Well, I sent you because we were talking about the baby. And I drew what I thought the baby looks like because we don't get to see it.
Oh, the devil baby. Oh, you know what? That's what you drew is what I thought too. Like a hairy little baby with like devil horns. Sure. Yeah. I don't know about the devil horns, but maybe because I think so. When we see Rosemary get horrified, she gets horrified of the eyes. I feel like if it had horns, there wouldn't even be mention of eyes. She's like, it has fucking horns. I feel like that would be the first thing.
I was going to draw hooves for feet, but it didn't work out. And then I forgot to put red for the eyes because she was like, what did you do to his eyes?
Yeah.
Guy has normal eyes.
Yeah, they're like, what'd you do to his eyes? He has his father's eyes. Guy has normal eyes. He has his father's eyes.
Can we talk about how fucking badass that like baby bassinet is?
Yes.
Holy shit.
Covered in black shroud.
With an upside down cross.
Yes, I was going to say the drawing. I appreciated that your drawing had the upside down cross mobile. Because that's a classic baby thing when your baby's new. Yeah, you got to get you got to get them a little mobile thing up there that spins around so they can look at it. And his is just one silver upside down cross.
Just one, but I think it'd be cute if it was like a regular like mobile that had like little baby upside down crosses like in a circle.
Like an upside down cross. Two guys fucking a corpse, a dead goat, like a pentagram.
Where's the goat head?
There's no goat head in this one. You're right. There's got to be one somewhere. I bet there's one somewhere, right? There must be one hidden somewhere.
No, there is. When they're bringing her into the room, and you're looking up at the wall's painted. There is a goat head on one of the walls of the ceiling.
Okay. Yeah, this is a movie I can't wait to watch again, so I'll look for that.
So you liked it?
I fucking loved it, of course. I was really blown away by how horrific they're able to make nothing. Like, nothing is really, nothing is, like, it's all, well, I guess that's a term of psychological horror, because what's horrible is what's happening to this woman's mind and her body, but, like, her mind is being twisted around by all these people, and they fucking win, which is really too bad, you know, so.
Yeah, I fucking hate the end of this movie in the sense of, like, he is just like, be a mother.
Yeah.
You're his mother, so be his mother. You don't have to join us. You don't have to join the coven, but be a mother to your child. And the way he says it and delivers the line is so soothing. He doesn't say it in this, like, demanding way. He's not, like, yelling at her, like, why don't you be a mother to your child? He's just like, be his mother.
Yeah.
You know
and
what's best for him.
And that's how he's been the whole time, Roman. Roman is so fucking smooth. But when you think about it, of course he is. Because, I mean, you know, he's the father, or he's the son of, like, a witch cult guy. He's clearly become a witchy cult guy himself. And what do we know about cult leaders? They're charismatic. Even that fucking dope that's about to get inaugurated again is a charismatic cult leader. And look, it fucking works. And maybe she doesn't decide to be a mother to the baby because of him. But obviously, she decides to be a mother to the baby. That's how it ends. But maybe it's not because of the way Roman was talking to her, but it didn't hurt. You know what I mean? He's just very, convincing. You know?
Well, he was able to convince Guy within what?
Yeah, like an hour.
To completely betray his entire relationship for personal gain. Like, imagine this. Imagine meeting somebody, like your neighbor, for the first time. And they're like, oh, by the way, like, come over tomorrow, you know, and they seem completely harmless. And then they tell you all this shit, and you just go, okay.
And it's possible they drugged him too. They drug Guy first.
Possible.
But maybe. But obviously, he's not continually being drugged. He's just in on it after that. So, you know, they kind of charm him into it. But it's just crazy to me because I'd be like, you know what? I really like your whiskey, but you just told me the devil's real, and I'm going to leave.
No, thank you.
Right? It's like, no thanks. Oh. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I'm banging Mia Farrow. I'm not going to fucking screw this up.
Did this make you laugh too? When they show the Time magazine cover.
Yes, it says, "Is God dead?" And then later, Roman and the other Satan-worshipping old people are like, "God is dead." Like, definitely dead. We know it.
For some reason, everything we end up talking about is just, like, cosmically connected with, like, the time and what's going on.
It's because I'm hypnotizing you into my devil cult, and so I'm convincing you.
Is that what's been happening?
Yeah.
Is there, like, are you, like, playing some, like, underlying things while we're recording?
Yeah, wouldn't
like,
that be crazy?
Subliminal messages?
That would be a great way in a modern movie for someone to find out they're being fucked with, right? Is like they accidentally unplug their headphones at the wrong time, or something goes wrong with their headphones, and they notice, like, there's a like, very quietly being fucking, like, hummed into their ear while they're talking to this guy. Right? Wouldn't that be crazy if this whole time we've been making this podcast, I've just been, like, quietly streaming backwards Latin into your ears? Someday you're just going to wake up and start carving symbols into your arms and shit.
Your coven's chant.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, what I was saying is, like, you know, how ominous, like, what the next 4 years and everything that's coming in with politics. And in this movie, they're talking about how it's year number one. It's year one.
Year one.
Satan's rule. Like, oh, geez. That's kind of how this year feels.
It does. You know, like, it's the fall of our previous life and previous system, and now something else is going to come in. But what's interesting about that in the movie, so they have a New Year's Eve party, and she's only a few months pregnant at this time because she gives birth in the summer. So they have a New Year's Eve party, and she's there. It's New Year's Eve in 1965, so Then when it hits midnight, they go 1966, and then Roman goes, year one.
I know.
And it's almost like it's a slip up.
Yep.
Because they forget that Rosemary's there. He's like, oh, like he doesn't really, there's not really an obvious time when he notices it, but he's just kind of like doesn't really say anything else, right? Like, kind of. I know,
I was like, why did he just fucking say that? Like, she's sitting right there, but like, why would that be? She would just find it as like another weird fucking thing that these people do. Like these.
And it's just another awesome way this movie keeps the horror so subtle and weird. But you still just enough so that you know, just a tiny drop so that you know. Because saying year one is fucking weird. You know that it obviously means they're hoping to change the world, probably not for the best. And, and so I just love how the whole movie's very subtle. And at the very end, when she finds out that it's Satan's baby, what all the old people start doing? They drop the fucking subtlety, and now they're just completely fucking on board with the devil. And they all keep saying like, "Hail Satan!" like happily
Hail
and
Satan.
smiling.
I
fucking love it. And
you know why I really like this scene is because everybody is so calm and just kind of like, okay, she's here, like mom's here, or whatever. But they've spent the entirety of this movie isolating her, keeping her drugged, not having her be a part of whatever they're fucking doing. And now all of a sudden they're just like, okay, whatever. I guess it's because she's given them what they wanted. So they're just like, whatever, what can she do? But it's terrifying.
Right, yeah, definitely. And they're completely confident in their plan at this point. So there's no reason to be alarmed.
But like finding out that my husband was sitting there, like he kind of turns his face and he walks away and he's just like kind of has this shameful look. I would have fucking stabbed him in the fucking face. Like, I was right, you fucking asshole. You've been drugged. Like, because they even drug her after she has the baby. Like, they keep doing the same shit and they take her breast milk to give to the fucking devil child. Like, that scene is just so bizarre to me of like, she's adamant that she's going to hurt these people because they took her baby and she knows they took her baby. And then it just gets so weird. Like, everything gets calm. And everything's okay all of a sudden. It's just very weird because then she just, like, sits down and Minnie comes over and gives her a cup of tea. And she's like, oh, does this have tannis root in it? And she's like, no, it's just Lipton tea. Drink it. Doesn't, like, yell at Minnie. Not like screaming at her like, I fucking knew you were giving me bullshit, you fucking asshole bitch. Like, she doesn't go off on them like you would think.
Well, but would you think that? Because here's the thing. This woman she doesn't even know she gave birth. She wakes up. Like, she's been being drugged for 9 months at least. She has no fucking clue what's going on. It's like getting hit by a truck. She goes in there ready to wreak havoc, but like, this all went the way they wanted it to. They're fine with it, and like she's just so floored by what's actually happening is that she drops the knife. She drops it point down. I mean, she drops it because she doesn't know what's fucking going on anymore. And it's easy to say, it's just like when, Columbine happened, all my friends were like, if I was there, I would have fought those guys. Well, sure, but like, in that moment, she's just fucking floored by what's happening. She goes in ready to like fucking stab a motherfucker, but like, as soon as she realizes what's going on, it's like, holy shit, I have no...
But she had her suspicions of everything, though. She'd read the books and was like, she knew they were a coven and that it was witchcraft and like...
Yeah, but reading a book about the devil baby and then seeing a fucking devil baby that came out of your vagina 2 minutes ago is
Two
fucking...
totally different
that's
things.
Different things. And so she drops the knife and she's totally out of it. And this is why the ending of this movie is beautiful. It's sad and horrible, but it's beautiful because like she's just so confused. And then the thing she grasps onto is, okay, well, and they say this all without her even fucking, she hardly talks in the ending at all. And, it's just like the way she holds on to her reality is, okay, well, I'm going to mother this kid. And that's all there is to it. And there's that one lady that's still freaking out on her until the very end who's screamed like, don't come by the cradle, which is, the one lady who maybe actually cares about the baby, because this one lady is screaming like, don't let this woman come over here. She just had a fucking knife. So like that's the one sane Satanist. Being
I like that
yo,
she sticks her tongue out at her.
Yeah.
Because she's like rocking the fucking cradle really fast. She's like, don't do that. And then Roman's like, just go away. Go sit down. And she's like, ugh.
Let her go. She's the mother. Yeah. But so, someone's like, well, how come she doesn't go in the well? Because this is in every other horror movie. And also she's just so fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, here's the deal, is Mia is not Laurie Strode. Mia is a Sally. This is why I hate the Texas Chainsaw reboot thing from 2022, because they bring Sally back as this fucking badass. Never would have fucking happened. Sally's in a fucking mental institution as soon as she gets out of that truck, right? And so, not Mia Farrow, that's the real problem, but Rosemary's the same way, where it's like, she is a strong woman. She's tried to, like, do her own thing and everything, but these motherfuckers, this system is so fucking well-oiled machine and so manipulative and so abusive and so ingrained into every fucking part of her life that they just fucking knock her sideways by not doing anything. And she doesn't know what to make of it, and so she just kind of decides, okay, well, I'll be its mother, And
so what can she do now? I mean,
just
the
mother the
doctor's
baby.
Involved. She tried to tell another person, and they wanted to send her to a mental institution.
Yeah.
So, like, what can she really do now?
Yeah. One of the reasons I can't wait to watch it again is just to see the ending again. But I'm not some weirdo that would just watch the ending. There's people that do that, right? That just want to watch a part of a movie. Do you ever do that?
Yeah, there are some movies I do that. I do that with.
I don't get that. See, to me, it's like if you walk into a museum and cover one eye and only look at a corner of a painting. Like, it's like, well, watch the whole thing. But anyways, that's a weird side thing. But I can't wait to see the ending again, because just the look on her face, and it's sad, and you feel bad for her, but also like, well, she's got a solution now. It's like she's giving in, but she's like, well, at least I get to be a mom,
Well, she was so she was completely horrified at the beginning, like of this scene when she saw what the baby looked like, and she was like, "That's not my baby." But now that she knows that it is her baby, she's had like a mental shift. It's that mother wanting to nurture regardless of what the child looks like. She's like, the mother instinct has like now taken hold of like, okay, well. Has red eyes, hooves, and weird hands.
Yeah, I mean, and that's probably how it really goes. Like, if you give birth to a baby that's deformed in some way, right? You're probably taken aback at first, but then, yes, that motherhood thing's going to kick in. And, okay, yes, I'll breastfeed this goat baby, by the way, so I would say in this case, I'm all for trying to naturally nourish your child if you can. I know there's a lot of different complications that come up with the process of breastfeeding. If you can, it's a good thing to do, right? They've shown that it's very healthy for the baby. However, in this case, I would suggest that Rosemary not try and breastfeed this baby. I would not want that thing's head anywhere near my fucking nipples. You know what I mean?
We think it. Oh, I didn't put teeth.
It's probably got like pointy little fucking teeth or a tail. You know what?
I didn't put teeth on the baby. I need to put teeth.
I bet it's got a forked tongue.
Oh, I didn't do the tongue.
I bet it's got a forked tongue.
Thank you very much. Claws, like dragon claws. So when it's like when you're breastfeeding, like the claws will be like cut in her breast.
Well, that's not a problem, because babies claw at you and fucking bite your tits anyways. And even as a man feeding my daughter, when she was a baby, they can't control their hands, but they have powerful little grips. And so she's just like moving her fist around and pulling, like grabbing my arm hairs and just pulling them out. And so I'm like trying not to shriek into this little tiny baby ear that's 2 inches away from my face. And she's starting to eat and falling asleep, and I'm trying to get her asleep for fucking hours. And then she pulls my hair out, and it hurts so goddamn much, and I want to scream right in this little bastard's face, and you can't do it. But so that's no different. But just the whole like devil, even let's say its mouth is fine. There's no sharp teeth or tail. It can suckle on your breast fine. It's still gonna make fucking weird noises, I bet, right? Like it's gonna be horrible.
Well, it's part her. Part guy, so it's part Rosemary, part guy, part devil, right?
Right, yeah.
So it's more human than it is devil, right?
More human than devil. More human than devil.
More human
maybe.
than devil, baby.
But we don't know the extent of this whole possession thing through Guy. Like, so did the devil take him over? Like, whose cum is it?
Both?
Was the dick hairy? Like, did the dick become a weird demon dick? I mean, he looked like he was hairy. He probably had a weird hairy dick. And, I mean,
So
it is
picture
good that
this,
she
Timmy.
can't remember it.
Picture this.
I don't want to picture it.
If the devil's inside of your body, so does the devil have a dick, and then the devil's dick is inside your dick?
I don't know. I mean, that's the thing is it's a very kind of ethereal sort of, what's a nebulous kind of situation. Because it's like, well, and that's why I like when movies do this. Because it's like, okay, well, they don't say exactly how it works, but you know that it happened, you know, but...
Or like a ghost takes over your body.
Well, you know what it is? Because, you know what? It is kind of more right there than we're giving it credit for. Because the guy turns in, he like morphs into a demon. You know what I mean? So you got to picture that it changes his biology a little bit. So, and obviously, the fact that the baby has weird monster eyes and probably monster hands and feet and who knows what else, well, clearly the biology changed enough to shoot devil cum. So he probably had some gross devil dick, you know, so... And I bet the cum's not even white.
Red.
Oh, God. Red cum. Oh, my God. Yo, I'm going to have to find a rating above explicit for this one when I post it.
Yeah.
Nobody needs to hear about red cum.
Well, I mean, if you're a human Homo sapien male and you have anything red coming out of your pee-pee hole, please go to a doctor. See a doctor immediately.
Yeah. Because, you know.
Something ain't right.
There's a lot of things that could be going wrong if there's red in your cum. One of those things is it could be a devil possessing you and trying to fuck your wife. So, you know.
So just think about your neighbors. Who have you spoken to in the last 24 hours?
Yeah. Have you tasted any weird booze? You know. Yeah, but well, I don't know. So are we we should be done for now, right? But is the episode done? I feel like it probably
I
is.
think we're done.
You think
I
so?
feel like
we kind of talked about it.
Did you talk about all the things that you want to talk about in the movie, like the points that you wanted to make?
I have no idea. I have no idea. But I think I did. Let me see. I mean, I didn't really write down much. We were talking about how calm the cult is at the ending, right? Mm-hmm. Well, shortly before that, there's something that happens that relates to something you mentioned in Black Christmas. In Black Christmas, towards the ending, there's a scene where the bad guy's trying to break open the door to get in the basement and kill her, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck? So there's a scene like that towards the end of Rosemary's Baby where she's like going crazy. Well, they think she's crazy, and she knows she's not, but she's running away from her husband and the doctor and whoever else is with them, and closes the door, locks the door behind them, and is trying to hide from them, and they're trying to open the door, and then they stop trying to open it. It's not stopping because you think they're done trying to kill her. It's stopping because now they don't need to be there. And this one makes it a little more obvious because then there's another shot during this sequence where you see these two guys, I don't even know which two guys they were, just two of the old guys in the cult, fucking like tippy-toeing, doing a classic Looney Tunes, like arms up, tippy-toe, sneaking behind her. Right? That's what they look like. They look like fucking like Sylvester Cat trying to sneak behind Tweety Bird, you know? And they're like ding, ding, ding. Like it would be making that little piano noise they make with their toes and Looney's, ding, 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 you know? Like they just like sneak behind her. And it was such a weird shot. And they looked so weird doing it. For a second, I'm like, is this movie going to turn out to be a fucking prank and they're throwing her a surprise birthday party? Because it just has this moment of frivolity to it. Even though it's extremely sinister what's really happening. The way those guys seemed, and it's just like what you said the whole time, they're just kind of so fucking calm where they're like, this is just fun for us, you know? So.
Well, they do keep trying to like assure her that, you know, he even says after she has the baby, like, oh, the doctor said it's like pre-partum or postpartum.
Yeah.
Like it was just a normal thing that you were going through. But like, why did you think I was involved? That's hilarious that you would think that.
And prepartum, I actually hadn't heard of before. Maybe that, because postpartum's the thing. So I don't know. He in the movie they're saying prepartum, and it's like, I don't know what that is, but yeah, but so that's the whole, the quiet door thing, again, used very well here. And that's one other point I just want to come up, because we kept kind of just fringing on it, but like, and I think I might have read this when people were praising this movie over the years, when I would catch something about it. But there is a tinge throughout the whole movie of humor. It's kind of very darkly funny. And I think it builds up. And so, when the guys are sneaking behind her, it's, like I said, it's very kind of funny and weird. But then when all right after that, a few minutes later, when she's in the room at the very end and all the old people are saying, "Hail Satan," like, that's fucking funny.
It's really
terrible.
Funny.
It's terrible what's happening to this young woman, but you got all these old people in nice clothes with drinks going like, "Hail Satan!" Like, just really fucking
it's like
getting into it.
It's like a normal night for them.
Yeah.
Hail Satan!
And they've all been, the whole movie's been so subtle and so chill, and they've been hiding their thing all this time. They've killed people throughout the movie in order to keep their secret hidden. And as soon as they don't need to hide it anymore, they're just fucking cartoonishly out with it, right? Like, "Hail Satan!" It's like, they go from like murdering an old man for giving a book to her to just screaming, "Hail Satan!" And I fucking love that. It's so good.
I'm really glad you finally saw Rosemary's Baby. It's a very artsy movie. Don't need a shit ton of blood. You don't need a shit ton of gore. Just like the Carnival of Souls, a really good story, really beautifully shot, really good acting, and just like a cool story that keeps you kind of on edge and interested at the same time. Yeah, really nervous and anxious pretty much the whole movie. And I'm nervous and anxious even when I'm watching like The Little Mermaid, but I mean, the movies also make you like that too, so. Yeah.
And I mean, to be fair, Ursula's pretty terrifying.
Yeah, she is.
Poor unfortunate souls, it's sad but true. Okay, sorry.
She's
such
a witch. She's gonna eat your
She's
soul.
a witch.
She's a witch.
You know what? That is more related to this than I fucking knew before it fell out of my mouth.
Yeah, she might be Minnie. She's like Minnie.
Okay, but what about this? Maybe Ursula is Roman's dad, and Roman and Minnie are Flotsam and Jetsam, the eels. And Hutch would be Sebastian? Hutch would be Sebastian the crab.
Oh, he would be.
Sebastian spends all the Little Mermaid be like, "Ariel, you stupid bitch, what are you doing?" And Hutch is like, yo, Rosemary, don't fuck it. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
So, he's trying to be nicer to her than that, though. But anyways, all right, well, we should wrap it up since we said we would. So that is the episode. Thank you for listening if you did. See, we got the sillies, right? Is that what happened? We were up too late?
Yeah. So for February, just want to remind listeners, you can send us a DM on Instagram. You can email us on our website, comment wherever. We just want your suggestions for what you want us to watch. It doesn't matter if we've seen it or not, because it doesn't fucking matter.
It doesn't matter. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Unless it's stupid. Then we'll call you stupid and we won't do it. Good idea, stupid. Okay. Let's be done. Thank you to Jordan Cooper for writing the theme song for Earnful of Popcorn. Thank you to Canada's Steve Ward for designing our logo and other visual elements.
We'll be taking over your country very soon.
Apparently. But don't worry about it because we can't fucking get anything right. And thank you to Shandi for being here. Thank you to me for being here. Thank you. Thank you to our listeners. If you are... I'm just going to leave it like that. And also, we are now on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
Just look for Earnful of Popcorn. We popcorn right up. And,
we did the thing.
Yeah, and you don't have to know the whole URL. Just go to YouTube, search for us, and you'll find it. It's crazy.
Earnful of Popcorn podcast.
Yeah, but you don't even have to type that in. If you go to YouTube and search Earnfulla, we come up. It's pretty sweet. Yeah. Okay, so that's the end of Earnful of Popcorn, and I just want to say, Hail Satan! It's, you know what? It's really fun to say Hail Satan, isn't it? And you know those old actors at the end of Rosemary's Baby had a fucking blast. Like, oh, I'm going to wear fancy clothes and sit in this nice apartment with wine and whatever and then go like, Hail Satan! That's a good job. To get paid to do that.
You know they were drinking and smoking on set and shit.
Hollywood magic.
Man.
Right? And then you're getting paid to go, Hail Satan! And like, you got to like, I mean, the old guy that gets to just smooth talk Mia Farrow and then like say Hail Satan, like what a great gig. That's a good acting gig, right? You get to wear a cool suit. You get to say a bunch of weird shit to this young woman and scare the shit out of her.